The story's opening scene plunges the reader directly into Clara Donovan's heartbreak, emphasizing the emotional intensity through the setting and her physical reactions. Sitting alone in the dimly lit wedding hall, Clara embodies the ultimate visual of abandonment and despair. Her white dress, traditionally a symbol of purity and joy, is now wrinkled, mirroring the chaos in her life. The untouched champagne glass signals a celebration that never happened, intensifying the stark contrast between expectation and reality. The text message from Ethan Caldwell, her fiancé, lands like a thunderclap. "Sorry, I can't. This deal, it's too important." The brevity of the message communicates not just his absence, but his prioritization of wealth and ambition over their relationship. By beginning with Clara's immediate reaction, shock, trembling hands, tears forming in her eyes, the story hooks readers emotionally, making them feel her pain firsthand. This instant betrayal creates tension and curiosity, compelling readers to understand how a seemingly perfect relationship could collapse in such a devastating moment. The reader is left with an urgent need to follow Clara's emotional journey. To deepen the impact of the betrayal, flashbacks are used strategically. Scenes of Clara and Ethan's earlier happiness, laughter during rainy walks, whispered promises during late-night drives, intimate confessions in quiet rooms, contrast sharply with the empty wedding hall. These glimpses into the past highlight the depth of their connection and amplify the sense of loss. Readers are not just witnessing a breakup, they are seeing a life that could have been, making the heartbreak more poignant. By juxtaposing memory with reality, the narrative allows Clara's shock to resonate more fully. Each tender moment that comes to mind serves as a reminder of what she has lost and the trust that has been broken. This technique also begins to build Clara's internal conflict. She must reconcile the man she believed she knew with the one who abandoned her at the altar. It underscores that betrayal is not only a single act but a fracture of shared history and emotional investment, which makes the stakes higher than simple disappointment. Beyond the immediate heartbreak, the scene hints at broader consequences, anchoring Clara's personal loss in larger social and professional stakes. Clara is a young lawyer just beginning to establish herself, and her life has been carefully structured around both love and career ambitions. Ethan's sudden choice to pursue a wealthy heiress is not only a personal betrayal, it threatens Clara's social standing, reputation, and emotional stability. The narrative subtly foreshadows that this moment will set in motion a series of challenges, testing her resilience, independence, and ability to navigate complex power dynamics. Readers sense that this is just the first fracture in a larger web of interpersonal and societal tension. The opening incident also primes readers to expect a journey of revenge, justice, or redemption, as Clara's professional world intersects with her personal heartbreak. By establishing both immediate emotional turmoil and potential cascading consequences, the story sets a strong foundation for tension, empathy, and investment in Clara's journey from betrayal to reclaiming her life. Clara Donovan's character is rooted in resilience and empathy, shaped by her upbringing in a single-parent household. Her mother, Maggie Donovan, worked tirelessly to provide for the family, instilling in Clara both a strong work ethic and a sense of responsibility. Financial independence became a cornerstone of Clara's life, but beneath her professional poise lies a deep emotional longing for stability and security, which she associates with love and commitment. At 28, she is ambitious yet principled, determined to make her mark in the legal world while staying true to her moral compass. Her days are filled with meticulous planning for her budding law firm, client meetings, and late-night research, reflecting her dedication and discipline. Despite her busy schedule, Clara nurtures personal connections, particularly with her best friend Lucas, who understands her vulnerabilities and offers unwavering support. This duality, professional drive balanced with emotional sensitivity, makes her relatable and human. By grounding readers in Clara's backstory, the narrative emphasizes that her heartbreak is not just about lost love but the shattering of the stability and trust she has worked so hard to build, raising the stakes for both personal and professional consequences. Ethan Caldwell, at 30, presents a striking contrast to Clara. Charismatic and charming, he can effortlessly captivate those around him, masking insecurities rooted in his modest upbringing. From a young age, Ethan equated wealth with security, freedom, and self-worth, cultivating an ambition that borders on materialistic obsession. While his relationship with Clara is genuine in moments of intimacy and affection, he struggles to fully embrace vulnerability, often prioritizing financial or social gain over emotional bonds. This internal conflict between love for Clara and the allure of a more opulent, strategically advantageous life with Sophie Langley foreshadows the pivotal betrayal. Ethan's calculated mindset is evident in subtle behaviors, lingering looks at luxury opportunities, internal rationalizations for choices, and moments of quiet detachment when faced with emotional intimacy. By exploring his motivations and insecurities, readers gain insight into why he makes decisions that clash with morality and love, adding layers to his character. His charm and ambition create tension between empathy and frustration, compelling readers to understand the duality of his nature as both relatable and flawed, setting the stage for dramatic conflict. The supporting cast enriches the narrative by reflecting Clara and Ethan's worlds and the stakes involved. Maggie Donovan, Clara's mother, is nurturing yet protective, offering guidance while harboring doubts about Ethan's intentions, subtly planting seeds of conflict. Lucas Bennett, Clara's best friend, serves as both emotional anchor and quiet romantic interest, representing stability and genuine care that contrasts with Ethan's ambition-driven persona. Sophie Langley, poised and calculating, embodies the wealth and societal allure that tempt Ethan, her presence highlighting the tension between material gain and emotional fidelity. Through Clara's daily life, long hours at her law firm, strategic planning for career growth, and moments of hope for a shared future with Ethan, readers witness the normalcy and aspirations that are about to be disrupted. Parallel glimpses into Ethan's internal deliberations and subtle attractions to Sophie foreshadow his eventual betrayal. Together, these elements establish a rich character ecosystem, grounding the audience in relatable ambitions, vulnerabilities, and interpersonal dynamics, while building anticipation for the emotional and ethical conflicts that will drive the story forward. The inciting incident thrusts Clara Donovan into emotional turmoil, marking the pivotal moment where her world unravels. Sitting in the elegant, dimly lit wedding hall, she receives Ethan's devastating text. He cannot marry her because of a lucrative business merger requiring him to wed Sophie Langley. The message is brief, clinical, and utterly devoid of empathy, immediately signaling betrayal. Clara's initial reaction is pure shock, her body stiffens, her hands tremble, and a cold numbness washes over her. The juxtaposition of her meticulously planned wedding, the celebration's decor, and her dream of a shared life with Ethan intensifies the horror. This moment is more than personal heartbreak, it is public humiliation, as the wedding guests have begun to notice the absence of the groom, whispers circulating, and social eyes turning. Clara's disbelief amplifies her emotional vulnerability, forcing her to process not just lost love, but the collapse of a vision she invested years in. The starkness of betrayal serves as the catalyst for the story, instantly raising tension, and compelling readers to empathize with her confusion, hurt, and anger. Clara's heartbreak quickly evolves into confrontation. Unable to accept passive betrayal, she seeks Ethan out, demanding explanations for his actions. Ethan, however, approaches the situation with cold pragmatism, attempting to rationalize his decision in terms of business strategy and financial advantage. His words, though logical from a corporate standpoint, sting deeply on a personal level. Clara experiences an intense emotional conflict, anger at his betrayal, disbelief at his detachment, and a desperate need for validation of her worth. The stark contrast between her emotional intensity and his calculated reasoning underscores the emotional stakes and deepens reader engagement. Through this confrontation, the narrative highlights Ethan's moral flaws and prioritization of material gain over genuine human connection. Clara's responses, tears, trembling hands, clenched fists, and a racing heart showcase her passionate nature and refusal to accept injustice quietly. This scene lays the groundwork for her transformation, illustrating the gap between ethical principle and cold ambition, while setting the stage for her journey toward reclaiming agency and confronting the consequences of trust violated. The immediate aftermath of Ethan's betrayal plunges Clara into a multifaceted crisis. Socially, she faces embarrassment, whispers among friends and family, and a sudden, stark awareness of judgmental eyes. Emotionally, she questions her judgment in love, wondering how she could have been blind to warning signs or deceived by charm. This self-doubt extends to her professional and personal identity, creating a fertile ground for growth, resilience, and eventual empowerment. Clara's internal monologue captures a whirlwind of rage, sorrow, humiliation, and introspection, emphasizing the multidimensional nature of heartbreak. By presenting both external and internal fallout, the story deepens empathy for Clara, making her struggles relatable and compelling. The scene also foreshadows broader conflicts, the intersection of social status, ambition, and emotional vulnerability, as well as Clara's eventual reckoning with Ethan and Sophie. Through this intense emotional upheaval, the inciting incident effectively catalyzes the narrative, transforming Clara's previously stable world into a landscape of betrayal, doubt, and opportunity for self-discovery, setting a clear trajectory for the story's main conflict. Following the inciting incident, Clara Donovan's life is marked by a tension between personal turmoil and professional responsibility. Despite her heartbreak, she must maintain composure at the law firm, balancing client meetings, case preparations, and courtroom appearances while her mind replays Ethan's betrayal. Each interaction becomes a test of resilience. A misplaced comment or glance at work triggers memories of Ethan, forcing her to compartmentalize pain. The juxtaposition of her external professionalism against internal chaos highlights her strength and vulnerability, making her relatable to readers. The narrative emphasizes Clara's emotional layering. Anger simmers beneath polite tones, despair flickers behind smiles, and determination emerges in her strategic focus on cases. This duality reflects real-life complexity, showing that heartbreak does not erase competence or ambition. By portraying her struggles in both personal and professional spheres, the story builds tension, illustrating how betrayal permeates every aspect of life. Clara's efforts to maintain dignity while processing betrayal underscore her evolving character, laying the foundation for growth and eventual empowerment, and creating reader investment in her journey toward reclaiming control. Ethan's public engagement to Sophie Langley intensifies Clara's humiliation, forcing her to confront betrayal on multiple fronts: love, social perception, and trust. Observing Ethan flaunt wealth and status in social settings exacerbates feelings of inadequacy and resentment, while the whispers of acquaintances magnify her social vulnerability. Amid this storm, Lucas Bennett becomes a crucial emotional anchor. His steadfast presence, listening ear, and subtle gestures of care provide Clara with a sense of stability. As he offers perspective and encouragement, the narrative introduces understated romantic tension, enriching character dynamics. Lucas's support contrasts sharply with Ethan's cold pragmatism, emphasizing the differences between authentic connection and manipulative ambition. Clara's interactions with Lucas allow moments of introspection and vulnerability, making readers empathize with her emotional oscillation. This dynamic deepens her arc, portraying the interplay between external humiliation and internal reflection, while foreshadowing potential romantic and emotional reconciliation that could influence decisions later in the story. Clara's journey evolves from reactive heartbreak to proactive self-reconstruction. She uncovers that Ethan's betrayal extends beyond romantic deception. Financial secrets, manipulative schemes, and breaches of trust highlight the full scope of his duplicity. This revelation fuels Clara's anger, but it also ignites determination to reclaim autonomy and rebuild her life on her terms. Scenes of late nights at the law firm, small victories in cases, and moments of personal introspection illustrate her resilience and capacity for growth. The oscillation between despair, rage, and resolve makes her arc emotionally compelling, reflecting the layered complexity of real human responses to betrayal. Readers witness her transition from victimhood to agency, as professional achievements and self-discovery affirm her worth independent of Ethan's influence. The rising tension is both internal, navigating mixed emotions, and external, confronting societal judgment and Ethan's ongoing public display. By weaving emotional depth with tangible actions, this section establishes Clara as a multidimensional protagonist, prepared for challenges ahead and primed to confront the ultimate conflicts of trust, love, and ambition. The climax begins with Clara Donovan confronting Ethan Caldwell at a high-profile corporate gala, a setting that amplifies tension and stakes. The room is filled with influential executives, media personnel, and socialites, all unaware of the personal drama about to unfold. Clara's entrance is poised yet deliberate, signaling confidence despite lingering emotional wounds. As she faces Ethan, every subtle glance, stiff posture, and controlled breath conveys both anger and determination. The confrontation is media personnel and socialites, all unaware of the personal drama about to unfold. Clara's entrance is poised yet deliberate, signaling confidence despite lingering emotional wounds. As she faces Ethan, every subtle glance, stiff posture, and controlled breath conveys both anger and determination. The confrontation is more than personal, it becomes a spectacle of ethics versus ambition. Clara strategically reveals evidence of Ethan's unethical business dealings, presenting facts clearly, calmly, and publicly. The shock ripples through the crowd, catching Sophie Langley and colleagues off guard, shattering the carefully constructed image of Ethan's empire. By situating the climax in such a public, high-stakes environment, the narrative heightens suspense and drama, giving Clara a stage to reclaim power and assert moral authority. Her courage and composure in this moment sharply contrast with Ethan's earlier manipulative demeanor, reinforcing the story's tension and emotional payoff while keeping readers on edge. Despite the temptation for vengeance, Clara chooses integrity over personal retribution. Rather than attacking Ethan emotionally or humiliating him outright, she presents the truth objectively, allowing the evidence and circumstances to speak for themselves. This decision highlights her moral compass and professional maturity, emphasizing strength, self-respect, and ethical clarity. Her speech exposes manipulation and deceit, not with malice, but with a focus on accountability and justice. The emotional resonance is profound. Readers witness her channel anger and betrayal into constructive action rather than destructive revenge. This choice also deepens her character arc, showcasing the evolution from a woman devastated by betrayal to a confident, principled professional capable of commanding respect. Ethan's stunned reaction, realization of what he has lost, including love, trust, and social credibility, underscores the narrative contrast. The public nature of the revelation magnifies the stakes, as his empire and relationships begin to crumble, while Clara stands tall, an embodiment of empowerment and composure. This moment cements her as a fully realized protagonist whose growth is both emotional and ethical. The twist arrives as Clara's bravery and poise do more than punish Ethan, they transform her own life trajectory. Impressed by her courage, composure, and unwavering integrity, a prestigious law firm offers her a partnership, recognizing her as a rising star in the legal world. This opportunity reinforces the story's theme of empowerment through adversity. Clara's personal and professional ascendancy contrasts sharply with Ethan's public and private downfall. The narrative juxtaposition emphasizes that strength, moral clarity, and resilience yield lasting rewards, while manipulation and ambition at the cost of ethics bring collapse. Readers feel a sense of catharsis as Clara reclaims agency, achieving both personal validation and career advancement. The twist also provides closure to earlier emotional beats, tying together heartbreak, betrayal, and social humiliation into a coherent arc of transformation. By ending the climax with Clara poised for a brighter future, the story delivers a dramatic and emotionally satisfying turning point, leaving readers invested in her continued journey while witnessing the consequences of choices driven by integrity versus selfishness. After the dramatic climax, Clara Donovan begins the process of rebuilding her life with renewed focus and determination. Her personal heartbreak and public humiliation have forged a stronger, more self-assured version of herself. Professionally, she immerses herself in her work at the prestigious law firm, tackling complex cases, mentoring junior associates, and making strategic contributions that demonstrate both competence and leadership. Each legal victory, whether large or small, becomes a reaffirmation of her abilities and reinforces her sense of agency. Socially, she regains confidence in public spaces, no longer defined by the past betrayal but by her integrity and resilience. The narrative emphasizes the significance of personal growth as a continuous journey. Clara learns to balance ambition with empathy, independence with connection, and professional drive with emotional awareness. By focusing on tangible achievements and personal milestones, the story provides readers with a satisfying sense of progression. Clara's empowerment is not sudden or superficial, it is the result of sustained effort, introspection, and courage, illustrating that true transformation comes from embracing both strengths and vulnerabilities rather than seeking external validation. Central to Clara's resolution is her emotional reconciliation, not with Ethan Caldwell, but within herself. She accepts that love cannot be forced and that integrity must remain uncompromised, no matter the personal cost. This inner acceptance marks a pivotal moment in her emotional arc. She releases lingering anger, resentment, and self-doubt, replacing them with clarity, self-respect, and gratitude for her own resilience. Clara reflects on her experiences, acknowledging the lessons learned from betrayal, ambition, and heartbreak, and finds peace in her ability to rise above manipulation and deceit. This internal closure creates a layered emotional texture, demonstrating that empowerment is both external and deeply personal. By framing the narrative around self-reconciliation rather than revenge or dependence on others, the story emphasizes maturity, strength, and emotional intelligence. Clara's newfound emotional stability also allows her to embrace connections with others more genuinely, without fear or compulsion, creating the foundation for meaningful relationships and a life defined by choice rather than circumstance. The resolution also reinforces Clara's personal support system and emerging relationships. Lucas Bennett's role evolves from confidant to a subtle, understated romantic interest, signaling potential future happiness built on trust, respect, and shared understanding rather than impulsive passion. Their dynamic reflects a slow, authentic connection, highlighting that love can emerge organically when both parties are emotionally whole. Meanwhile, Clara's mother, Maggie Donovan, expresses pride and relief, providing a quiet but emotionally resonant closure to family dynamics. Her approval and emotional support validate Clara's choices and growth, bridging the gap between familial concern and personal empowerment. These moments emphasize that resolution is multifaceted. It encompasses career achievement, self-acceptance, relational health, and familial reassurance. By concluding with Clara poised for a balanced, fulfilling life, strengthened professionally, emotionally reconciled, and subtly open to love, the story delivers a satisfying arc of justice, resilience, and empowerment. Readers witness the culmination of her journey, understanding that true triumph lies in integrity, self-respect, and measured emotional growth. The story's emotional close begins with Clara Donovan in her new office, a bright, sunlit space symbolizing renewal, hope, and achievement. This environment contrasts sharply with the dim, empty wedding hall where her heartbreak began, visually and emotionally underscoring her journey from betrayal to empowerment. Clara's act of signing her first major case demonstrates not only professional competence but also personal confidence, marking the tangible results of her resilience and determination. Each stroke of the pen reflects months of hard work, late nights, and self-discovery, conveying to readers that her triumph is earned rather than serendipitous. The sunlight streaming into the office serves as a visual metaphor for clarity, renewal, and the illuminating power of self-realization. Her surroundings, organized, warm, and intentional, mirror her internal growth. She has reconstructed her life on principles of integrity, self-respect, and ambition. By centering this scene on accomplishment rather than revenge, the narrative reinforces the story's core message. True empowerment arises from inner strength and ethical courage, allowing readers to feel both catharsis and inspiration in witnessing Clara's full-circle transformation. The arrival of a note from Ethan, stating, "I see what I lost. I hope you thrive," adds a subtle layer of closure without reopening old wounds. Clara's gentle smile conveys a mixture of forgiveness and triumph, signaling that she has moved beyond bitterness while retaining dignity and self-respect. This moment emphasizes that closure is internal rather than dependent on external validation. She does not require apology or reconciliation to feel complete. The note serves as an acknowledgement of the past and a contrast to her present strength, reminding readers of the journey she has undertaken. Her reflective emotional state blends triumph, peace, and bittersweet remembrance, showing that resilience involves accepting hurt without being defined by it. Through this nuanced reaction, the story portrays emotional maturity, reinforcing that empowerment and personal growth coexist with acknowledgement of pain. Readers are left with the understanding that Clara has reclaimed control over her narrative, demonstrating that heartbreak can catalyze transformation rather than perpetual despair. The scene closes with Clara hanging a framed photo of her mother and herself, a visual metaphor for enduring love, guidance, and emotional foundation. This simple act signifies gratitude, familial bonds, and the recognition that meaningful connections can sustain and empower without compromise. The image embodies both reflection and hope, serving as a subtle reminder that love and resilience coexist, and that life's hardships can strengthen rather than diminish one's spirit. Clara's closing narration, "Some hearts break, but the pieces can build something stronger," crystallizes the story's thematic arc, blending catharsis with empowerment. The bittersweet tone balances the sorrow of past betrayal with the triumph of self-reclamation, leaving readers emotionally satisfied. By combining tangible symbols, the office, the photo, with introspective reflection, the narrative achieves a harmonious close, emphasizing both personal and professional victories. This final moment cements Clara as a multidimensional character who has navigated loss, ethical challenges, and emotional growth, offering readers a resonant, uplifting conclusion that underscores resilience, integrity, and the enduring strength of the human heart.